Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. How are we today? Let me just move this out of frame. This is our final chapter in Steal Like an Artist. And we have a next book coming up. And welcome back, everyone. We've got Zandra in the chat. How are you doing this week? Had kind of a crazy week this week, so lots of exciting stuff going on. So I'd love to hear your guys' creative stories, what you guys have been doing this week. Go ahead and pop that in the chat. This week we are talking about how creativity oftentimes is subtraction, meaning a lot of times if you have limitations set upon you, you can get the most creative in how to, or you can get the most creative with your end result as well as your process getting there. So this is kind of a fun one this week. It's a pretty short one. So I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of recap last week. Last week we were talking about how to surround ourselves with people that inspire us, how to keep us motivated within ourselves. We were talking about doing a wall calendar and marking an X on the wall calendar every time you've met one of your creative goals or showed up to the page to work on your creative process. So what I ended up doing was I had this little notebook with graph paper, which was absolutely perfect. And I started to log every single day the thing that I did for my business. And in the inside page, I labeled it a series of accumulated successes. So it's a little bit of a play on the series of unfortunate events. I thought a series of accumulated successes was a really nice way to drive the point home to me that small steps compounded over time yield great results. So what I did was every day I just wrote the date and then I itemized what I did with a little checkbox. And already I've gotten quite a bit done, and it's really nice to keep it going. There was 2 days in a row where I did hardly anything, but I still showed up. And so that still motivated me to take some steps because I didn't want to break the chain of every single day showing up. So that was a really nice motivator for me. I found it really helpful, and I'm going to continue using this. So yeah, really good stuff in here. And I have a new commission project that I'm going to be working on. That's my task today after this is I'm going to be doing my mock-up, sending it to my client. And that's kind of it for me. Kind of like I said, a busy week. So lots of stuff going on in all avenues of my life. So hopefully with that, we can still focus on our creative process and our creative tasks and our passion, which for me, my creativity is my passion. So I hope that if you're not quite there yet, this can help you reconnect with that. I do have an announcement to make. Oh, I lost my note. I'll make it later. So anyway, getting down to this. Where did my sheet go, though? I'm so... Wow. Zandra says most of her creative energy has been going into the perfect cover letter, which is... Wait, she said, but I reclaimed some after sending it, and she did a little painting and a language study. That's really cool. Yeah, I know. I got to see some of Zandra's stuff she was working on this week. I know we didn't get it posted in the Facebook creative group. I actually haven't posted anything in there, so it's I think my turn to post. But yeah, no, it was really cool to see what you've been working on this week. And I'll invite you to share it in the Facebook group. I know you said it was just a draft, and sometimes we're not very comfortable sharing what we're working on, especially in more of a public venue. But think about it in the way that this is fellow creatives wanting to share their endeavors. We've created this little community with us, and I just love sharing what we have going on. And this here behind me is a painting I did from a workshop a couple weeks ago. We did a we did a workshop in the woods, masks required, social distance. It was really cool. And so I was painting on this upside down while I was teaching it, and it was a 2-ish hour workshop. And so I'm just going in and adding more detail, and I'm going to post an update so that the people who attended the workshop, if they wanted to take their painting further, they could follow along with me and continue updating theirs as well at home. I also created a painting kit. So it's got everything that you need to get started, your brushes, your paints, everything. That's on my website, SariLunaDesigns.com. You can just go to shop, and then I think it's in art supplies. And if you would love to get your toes wet and start going forward with your painting practice, I invite you to go over there, and it's just everything you need to get started. So Zandra says she loves the book of accumulated successes, my daily log book for all the things that I've done. She says she really likes the title, and she forgot about that homework, but she will do it, or she needs to do it. Well, good. Like I said, I found it super helpful. I'm glad you liked my title. I was kind of laughing to myself, thinking I'm all punny and, really cool. So I'm glad you appreciate that too. We've got Kim here. Art happens on Tarboro. Art happens on Tarboro. She's our stained glass artist. She says, good evening. So glad to be here. I'm really glad you're here too, Kim. We got a couple other people in here. Welcome, you guys. It's good to have you here in the chat. I've got some really exciting things going on. I'm going to be doing a live stream, not this Wednesday. This Wednesday, I have an interview for a podcast. So I'm going to be on the John Top of It podcast, where he talks about interesting things. And we're going to be talking about my arts business and my process and how I help people tap into creativity. So stay tuned. I'd love to share that podcast with you guys. I'm super excited. And then the Wednesday after that, I had a note that said the date and the time, but I know it's in my phone, so let me access it this way. I do have a really cool live stream that I'm going to be coming up on my Facebook, and wrong button. So on my Facebook on Wednesday, September 30th, I'm going to be doing a live stream at 7:30, and we're talking about ways in which you can really quickly and really easily step up your drawing skills. Like if you don't know how to even draw a stick figure, or that's all you can do, it's a really good idea to come tune into that. If you're not already following my Facebook page, it's just Sari Luna Designs, and I'll be live streaming on there. Really quick, really easy way to up your drawing skills, which does translate over into your painting skills. I find it really helpful. So I'm really excited to share this trick with you. So stay tuned for that. Zandra says, hi, Kim, new name, cool stuff. Yeah, I think it's good to change your YouTube name to your business and your branding. It's really important. Like my YouTube is Sari Luna Designs. And once I get to 100 subscribers, I can actually have my YouTube URL changed to youtube.com/Sari Luna Designs. So it's really cool. I'm really excited. I'm almost to 100 subscribers. And once I get there, I'm going to have a custom YouTube URL. So super exciting. And it's a really good way to just share your passion for what you're doing and get people excited, So years ago, this Zandra was her brand. Oh, Zandra. I think that's a good brand. It's like Cher. Like Zandra is a really unique, really impactful, like I really like it. Anyway. All right. So little bit of excitement here in the beginning. Not to go too far down that rabbit hole. And Zandra says, you got it on the head, Sari. Ha ha. Well, you got to do that cool branding. Because my name is my brand, right? So Sari Luna is my first and my middle name, and I use it as my artist name. And a lot of my friends don't know my real last name, so it's really funny. I had a friend come over, and he's like, I was like, yeah, just call me on the intercom and I'll buzz you in to my building. And he's like, I can't find you on the intercom because it had my first initial and my last name. And he's like, I don't even know what your last name is. So branding, right? Like people know me, Sari Luna. It's my first and my middle name, my artist's name. So it's a pen name of sorts, but it is still my name. So it's really cool to be consistent with that. We lost a couple people on here. I think we're chatting too much, less about the book. So maybe get straight into the book here, get people a little more engaged. I don't know, whatever. So creativity is subtraction. So let's get going here. We have here this really cool illustration where Austin went and scribbled out everything except for the words creativity is subtraction, or subtraction, which is a really nice example of doing creativity by subtraction. Like, oh my God, subtraction. Just scribbling out everything except for what it is you want to see. So he's utilizing blank space, the negative space. He's using his values to draw your eye into the center. It's a really nice illustration of the concept creativity is subtraction. I'm actually very tickled by this. So choose what to leave out. So this is one of our most important jobs as artists, is choosing what we're not going to include. So we, in this current age, we have the internet. There's so much, there's abundance overload. Like there's this new term called death scrolling. You can go on to Facebook or social media and just scroll and scroll forever. And it's just like, what is that doing for you? But yet we all can get caught in that. So that's interesting that he's pointing this out. So what we need to do is figure out not necessarily what to include, maybe in our lives, maybe in our art, but what to leave out, right? So maybe thinking about that. So he's saying concentrate on what's really important. And he says, I really like this. I underlined it and boxed it and scribbled on it. So this is really cool. Nothing is more paralyzing than the idea of limitless possibilities. The idea that you can do anything is absolutely terrifying. And I am a huge, this hit me really, really, this hit home for me, because for my arts practice, I like to do so many things. It was really, it took me a long time to just sit down and be like, okay, like this is what I have available to me is canvas and paint, right? Like, so I'm going to really just hone in on painting, acrylic painting, and I'm going to make this my focus. Even though I'm so interested in so many different things, it can be overwhelming for me to look at all the things that I want to do. But if I'm like, okay, just pick one, or just pick one thing, one project at a time, it really helps me to be like less of that noise out there. So, and even for my business, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to sell jewelry? Do I want to sell, handmade sculptures? What do I want to do? And so this is just what I ended up landing on. And once I made that decision, it kind of helped me move forward, because I still do crafts and things, but my main, and I've really been able to hone in on my skill sets and work with them and progress them forward that way. So nothing is more paralyzing than the idea of limitless possibilities. The idea that you can do anything is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, like showing up at a blank canvas and not knowing what to put on it, that can be really difficult. I had artist block for a while, and that was a big problem for me. Showing up at the blank canvas and being like, I have so many ideas, but I don't know which one to pick, and then fretting about like picking the perfect thing. And I think with creating things, it's just about one step in front of the other. You don't have to make it perfect. You just have to pick one and play with it. So the way to get over creative block is to simply place some constraints on yourself, is what he's saying. It might seem contradictory, but when it comes to creative work, limitations mean freedom, right? So I'm limited to using this canvas and this paint, right? So if you have all these options and you hone in on like maybe one style, like, okay, I really like Impressionism or Impasto, or the different painting styles, traditional style, then it can be like, oh, how do I move forward with this? But keeping it narrow and focused and just one step in front of the other has really, really been helpful for me. And it's like kind of a weird learning curve, especially like if you have anything like, I don't think we're actually supposed to be using these terms anymore. ADD, ADHD, if you are what has been traditionally labeled that, if you, your mind's just going, this is a really nice practice too. Just one, one, one. So limitations can mean freedom in that way, in that you can actually be producing something. Whereas if you're so overwhelmed at all the options and you're thinking you have to pick the perfect one, you're probably going to be producing a lot less. So this has multiple meanings for me. He's talking about what you're leaving out on the canvas. I'm talking about a little bit of that, as well as your medium and, you know, basic life choices sometimes. So another point is, you know, not making excuses for not working, making things with the time, space, and materials that you have right now. So often we sit there and say, oh, I wish I had more time, I would make art, or I wish I had more time, I would work out, or I wish I had more time, I would such and such, I would organize this. And just, you know, I've been doing something where I'm like, okay, I have an hour or I have a half an hour. I'm just going to sit down and do what I can. And that can help keep your engines running and your excitement going for the project, rather than the dread of, oh, what I don't have. So I think that's cool. He's pointing that out too. Dr. Seuss, oh, he's got this really good example here. Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat with only 236 words, which I didn't know. And he said, so Dr. Seuss's editor bet him that he couldn't write a book with only 50 words. And do you guys want to give me a guess at what book you think Dr. Seuss wrote with only 50 words? Go ahead and put your guesses in the comments. So The Cat in the Hat, he wrote with 236 words. What book do you think that Dr. Seuss wrote with only 50 words because his editor bet him that he couldn't? I'll give you a hint. It turned out to be one of the best-selling children's books of all time. Zondra's in the comments. She said Green Eggs and Ham, and you are a winner, Zondra. The book is Green Eggs and Ham. So Dr. Seuss came back and won the bet with Green Eggs and Ham, which turned out to be one of the best-selling children's books of all time. Now, innovation is often a result of limitations. So if you limit yourself on, or if your environment or your current situation is limiting you on the resources that you have, or maybe you choose to limit yourself. Zondra was talking about doing a trichromatic painting, which is a painting with only 3 colors. If you limit yourself in ways like that, you can really come up with nice, innovative ways. So one of the things that's cool about limiting how many colors you're using in a painting is that you start to use values more, which is light and dark, and you can start to amplify textures. So one of the key rules of black and white photography is not only your values and your lighting, but black and white photography can be really impactful if you amplify or find things with really interesting textures. So that black and white photography, in a way, is a limiting challenge, right? So you take that color out and you've got a monochromatic image that you're working with. You need to find other ways than color to make it interesting. So I love that you got this book right, Zondra. Congratulations. You win 10 points. 10 points today. That will convert into gold stars at the end of this YouTube, and they will be transferred to you by mind powers. So look for that in your brain later today. Those will transfer over. So I joke. But we got a quote here from Jack White. I believe Jack White is he was in the White Stripes, right? Like he was doing the 7 Nation Army. He's that musician, yeah? He says, telling yourself you have all the time in the world, all the money in the world, all the colors in the palette, anything you want, he says that just kills creativity. And, you know, I think that's right. You know, having that time is really helpful. Having that time is nice and fun and relaxing. But if you have all this time in the world, it's easy to prolong your decision-making process. Some of the exercises that I do with creating some of my creations. I guess some of the exercises I do in creating is you can set a timer and you have however long in that timer to do your process. And it's really interesting because if you just do something and you spitball and you like throw ideas and you're just figuring something out for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And at the end of that, you're like, oh, wow, look at all these ideas came out of me. And then you pick your favorite one and you move forward with that. That could be a really helpful way to make decisions. So Kim here is saying that she wants points too. She knew the answer because she read the book. Kim, you get 5 points, only because you didn't say the answer. But you do get 5 points because I love you and you're awesome and you knew the answer. So congratulations, you guys. I'm really proud of you. I didn't know the answer, so I just had to read the book and find out. So y'all are right in front of me. All right, 10 points to Zandra, 5 points to Kim, and Kim is going to gain on you, Zandra, with the point system here, so watch out. Watch out. So maybe if you guys have any experience with limiting what you're allowing yourself to use. I know Kim uses stained glass. So stained glass is a medium that limits her in certain ways when she's creating things. Zandra is in the chat asking Kim how her shop is doing and how her commission is going. So we've got this nice camaraderie here with all of our guys coming back and touching base with each other. So we have another nice illustration here that Austin did. And he says there are definite dangers in thinking you can do everything. And I think what that points to is thinking that you can do everything all at once is a really good way to burn yourself out, or thinking that you can split your energy and do a whole bunch of things in a certain period of time can really hold you back and make you feel frustrated. And I'm saying this from personal experience because I like to do everything all the time. So we got a little warning sign here, caution. Whittle down the stream so you can think. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, that's keep it simple, Sari. I say keep it simple, Sari, and my mom says keep it simple, stupid. And whenever I try and change it to Sari, like, yo, it's keep it simple, Sari, but you know, keep it simple, stupid. Sure. So Kim said she had a class with 5 people yesterday. Congratulations, that's exciting. In your workshop, it sounds like commissioner is coming tomorrow to see it cut out, or the commission, and she's going to be grinding to make sure it's okay with her. That's perfect. So when you're doing commissions, you're touching base with your client partway through so that they do have an opportunity to change anything. I think that's really nice, and I think that that helps them feel involved with the process. So that's cool. I know that Kim also had an interview with a senator, I think it was, last week or so. So hopefully that's going well too. You had a little 5-minute interview. The next tip here is to do with less. So take your action with less resources or options. And then our final tip is to just start now. It's like I said, you know, take that inspired action. If you feel that inspiration to do something, don't say, oh, I'll write it down and do it later. I mean, oftentimes we have to do that because of certain, you know, requirements and responsibilities we have in our life. But if you can, start now. So once this live stream is over, go sit down and decide to do something creative. So the artist Saul Steinberg said, what we respond to in any work of art is the artist's struggle against his or her limitations. What we respond to in any work of art is the artist's struggle against their limitations. So it's often what an artist chooses to leave out that makes the art interesting, right? So a lot of times you can see an image and it suggests what the subject is, but it doesn't completely spell it out, right? So like it could be like something zoomed in on like something sitting in the grass, and you're only showing parts of the object and maybe parts of the grass, but you can, like, say it's the corner of the book and it's at an interesting angle and it's in the grass, and it doesn't quite show you what the whole object is, but just seeing that, you could recognize, oh, I think that's a book. So that is kind of an illustration of making something interesting while leaving it out. And you're seeing like the texture of the pages, the interesting angle, it's a shape. And if you're able to, work something in there that's an interesting flow for the image and focal point, that might be a cool composition, for maybe somebody in the library or something. So what makes us interesting isn't just what we've experienced, but it's also what we have not experienced. The same is true when you do your work. You must embrace your limitations and keep moving. So what do you guys think? What makes us interesting isn't just what we've experienced, but also what we haven't experienced. Do you guys think that means, what do you think that means? What does that resonate with you? Do you have an example of, like oftentimes when I'm talking to somebody, I will be purposefully leaving personal details out. And oftentimes that creates a sense of mystery. And then I get to this point where they're just asking me more questions about myself. And so I think a lot of times when we skip around certain details, that it makes people more curious about you. And I think that's the same for your artwork. So that's kind of what that means to me is, if you allude to something, make something kind of more mysterious, kind of more maybe magical, whatever vibe you're going for. Sandra says Banksy. Kim is saying that her interview with Cal Cunningham, the Democratic candidate for the North Carolina senator. Yes. So how did that go, Kim? I know you only had 5 minutes, and I'm hoping something is going to come out of that. Zandra says Banksy is mysterious. Part of Banksy's mystery is, we don't know who Banksy is. They're anonymity. The artwork is really interesting because it's like a lot of spray paint art. It's a lot of like graphical in that it can be tricolor a lot of times. A lot of strong graphic elements. Yes, I like that. It's a good option. I mean, a good example. Yeah. All right. So I'll give Kim 5 more points for having that interview. And she says that the interview went good, and she got interviewed that night by AP reporter. Congratulations! It's super exciting. If it comes out and you have a video, pop it in the Facebook group. I'd love to see your interview video and things being successful. Yeah, and that reminds me. Yeah, anything that you guys have, like any publicity or anything cool going on with your art, if you're doing an art show, pop it in the art group. We want to see what you're working on, and it'll be super exciting to share all that stuff, you guys. All right, so in the end, creativity isn't just the things we choose to put in. It's the things we choose to leave out. Choose wisely and have fun. So what do you guys think of that? Thinking of leaving things out. I'm sorry, I just kicked the stand. Do you guys think that leaving things out in your work and alluding to certain things is helpful? I think, I don't know, I agree with him. I think that we can have things in and it's still creative, but I think that advancing how recognizable we can make things while leaving details out is really cool. Like especially with graphical stuff like Banksy, like he's really focused on the form of something and making sure that it's recognizable. He, she, they, whoever Banksy is. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Got what now? So let me know what you guys think in the chat if you agree with that, if you've had any experience with maybe a project that you've done that you've left something out and that it's been successful for you. So we have here a list of things to start on next. I put a check mark here because I started my logbook. So this is some of the stuff that we've covered in class or our book club. Take a walk, start your swipe file. Your swipe file is your file of imagery that is really inspiring to you, or maybe it's words that are inspiring to you, whatever it is that's inspiring. Go to the library, do some research on something. I really enjoy doing art on mythology and folklore, just because I find the topic so interesting. You can go and like read so much stuff about it. Buy a notebook and use it, jot things down, get yourself a wall calendar, mark that X every time you show up for yourself, and don't break that chain. That's our recommendation from Jerry Seinfeld. His thing is to write a joke every single day. Give a copy of this book away to somebody who you think might love it. Start a blog, you know, if you're a writer, that might be a good way to show your work. Start a nice blog for your portfolio. Take a nap, you know, reset so you can leave the day behind and start your creative endeavors with a fresh start, fresh mind. Zandra says, I think narrowing down the number of projects is useful, but for the actual creating, often a larger palette is better for her. Wonderful. Yeah. So take what you take from the content, what really resonates with you. I think that's what's cool about books like this is we're sharing theories, concepts, and everybody's different. So it's really good to try out new things, try out new concepts, and it's really cool to find out what works for you. So I love that Zandra agrees, you know, narrowing down the number of projects is useful, because that's what really resonated with me is like, oh my God, like sometimes there's just too many projects and you can't split your energy like that and feel all as accomplished as if you're just working on one thing and in the end like you complete it, right? So when I split my energy like that, I end up having like a bunch of different projects. Some of them are 90% done and then I move on, and it's just like I just really enjoy that completion feeling, and I've been trying to do more to facilitate that in the way that I work. So Kim says she hears Zandra and she has too many projects going. Oh, Zandra really liked this quote, and I like it too. Some advice is a vice. And this is from the back of the book. I'm really glad you pointed that out. So we have some recommended reading in here. If you buy the book, he's got a whole page in here, books that he's recommending. So here we have your mileage may vary. I think that's speaking to everybody's different. But here's the quote that Zandra was talking about. Some advice is a vice. And she says that she plays by feel and she feels exhausted by options. And if she feels exhausted by options, she drops them. You aren't committed to using them. Yes, exactly. I love that. So you can have the ideas for the project, but you don't necessarily have to move forward with it. So I really like that we're honing in on that, because like I said, like, you know, if I have a storage unit with my my painting supplies for my workshops, and then I keep my extra art supplies there because I keep a limited amount of working supplies in my realm of living and working, so that I don't get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of options that I have for projects to go on. It's like, I know that those supplies are there. They'll be there when I'm ready to use them. And I kind of pick and choose what I bring here. And if I kind of accumulate too many resources in my space that I'm not currently working on, I need to remove them, because it's almost like there's that quote, I don't know if it's actually a quote or more of a concept, that your mind is a reflection of your environment, right? So if I have too many options here, then maybe my mind is going to feel really distracted. So I love that, you know, that resonated with you. Kim says, life is like a buffet. There's so many choices, but you can't walk away. Oh, but you can walk away or skip what you don't want or need. Yes. All right, 10 points to Kim. All right. It's like whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter. But 10 points to Kim. Kim got 5 points already. She's got 15. Zondra's coming down here. You guys are tied for points right now. You guys all get points. I'll take a few points for myself. I'm gonna say I got 10 points, you know, just for showing up. Zandra says she's behind. Nah, I gave you 5 more. I know I didn't actually allot them, but I'm saying y'all are even now. I know, too many points. I should get a whiteboard and keep track of your points. Is that what you guys are saying? Yeah, exactly. Leave some ideas for later. You know, sometimes we have ideas that we really like and we just never really do them. And those are always fun to reach back for if you're feeling you know, if you keep a log of ideas, it's really nice to go flip through them and feel inspired. And sometimes you can take an idea that you initially had and add to it and make it even better, which is cool about keeping a log. Sandra says the ideas that got away, right? They won't get away if you keep a log of them. So, you know, just remember, guys, feel free to take what you can use and leave the rest. You know, just like some of this is going to resonate with you and some of the other stuff is going to resonate with somebody else. So I really like that we're discussing the things that we enjoy about it, maybe the things that aren't necessarily it for you. I know there's been times where we've been talking and I'm like, I don't really understand that. And you guys have had to explain it to me and then it made more sense. So this is really cool to have the dialogue. I really enjoy that. And I think it helps people to hear different perspectives. It's book club. It's creative book club, and we have fun together. And let's see. So remember, there's no rules. And if you haven't purchased this book, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, I do recommend buying it, supporting this author. We're just going through his content and discussing it, but I do love showing support for people. I personally didn't buy this book. I actually stole this from a friend, which I think is funny, obviously. So let's do our best to support and love each other, encourage each other, cheer us on. Keep it simple. Do what you love. I went ahead and since we had previous discussions on books, yay, Zondra's giving us the celebration emoji. So we've got some deleted scenes here in the back of his book, some drawings that he did that I thought was really fun. So if you have the book, don't forget to flip all the way to the back. Those are cute. So the next book, you guys, the next book I want to do is The War on Art, or The War of Art. Break through the blocks and win your creative battles. So The War of Art is breaking through the blocks, your blocks, and winning your creative battles. Now, again, like this is going to be a discussion. Some of the stuff in here maybe won't resonate with you. Some of it will, but we'll have it open to talk about. So what I want you guys to do is, I think you two both already have this book, which is why I chose it. We were already talking about it. Kim says she's excited about The War on Art. Zandra said that she just finished Show Your Work. And she didn't know Keep Going, so she had to buy it. Those are 2 books that Kim's saying that she bought. So 2 other books that Austin wrote are Show Your Work and Keeping Going. So those are some fun ones to check out. I think maybe it would be fun if you guys wanted to read through. If there's a book that you think that you would want to reread, always let us know too. So The War of Art. Zandra says that it looks good. Kim says she's excited about The War of Art. So good. I'm glad. So I was thinking The War of Art is the first one that Stephen Pressfield wrote. And then he also wrote Art and Fear. So, oh no, that's not him. David Bales and Ted Orland, Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making. So I don't know, we'll start out with The War of Art. And what I want you guys to do is before next week, since this is a longer book, like it's longer, I'm going to just be reading like the highlights and stuff, like when we were doing the Artist's Way here. So what I want you guys to do is read the foreword, read what I do. So this is just about him, what I know. This is why we should listen to him. The Unlived Life. Basically just read all the way up to Resistance, Defining the Enemy. And if you guys feel like it, yeah, let's have you guys read all the way to page 10. So everything in the beginning all the way to page 10. That's what we're going to read before next week. Sorry, I just kind of had to make this decision right now. I thought I had it planned out. So yeah, read all the way to page 10 on the War of Art. If you don't, no worries, just show up. We'll be talking about it anyway, and you can follow along at your own pace. So yeah, so Kim's pointing out there are no chapters in War of Art, which is kind of why I'm doing it this way. Zandra says, yeah, it's a book, and that we will have to go by page numbers. Yeah, so the first few pages, like, it's just like a few things, right? So let's just get through that all the way to page 10. And it's not going to take too long. But I think if you read the foreword and everything, you can probably skip that, but it'd probably be nice to read it. And then this is what I really like. There's a quote in it by the Dalai Lama. The enemy is a very good teacher. And I'm saving my page with my painting sponge. Don't judge. Okay, so we'll do that. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I know y'all both have that. If you're watching here, meet us here next week, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll be going through the first 10 pages of the War of Art, and we'll be discussing. So it's going to be really fun. This is perfect timing for me because, like I said, I have this big project coming up. I have been being asked to do some online classes, so I am going to be doing that. September 30th at 7:30 p.m. I will be live streaming on my Facebook page, and I'm going to show you guys a really nice trick for how to increase your drawing skills, which really will carry over to painting. I found that when I'm painting and I haven't drawn a lot, sometimes getting the shapes in, it takes me a little bit longer. Whereas if I'm practicing my daily drawing, I'm really getting through painting a lot quicker. And since I use acrylic paint, it's very helpful to be quicker with defining your forms and your basic shapes. It's just really helpful for detail work. So drawing is a really important skill when you're making art. And it's just a good way to jot down ideas and draft them up. So I thought that would be a good way. So I'm going to be doing a free live stream Saturday or Wednesday, September 30th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So that's it for me. If you guys want to stay in touch, I have a big project. Okay, so people are asking me to teach online workshops. Well, I've decided I'm going to move forward and do this. So I have a free webinar coming up. If you want details on that, go to my go to my website, SariLunaDesigns.com, and scroll down and subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to be starting to sending out my newsletters now. I'm going to be having more resources for creative resources. Zandra says, yay. I know Zandra wasn't able to make it to my last workshop, and we were going to have another workshop, but we had all the fires up here, and now we're into September. I'm only doing outdoor workshops at this time, and because we're in the Pacific Northwest, it's rainy. So once my venues start doing workshops again and allowing smaller groups to safely come in, meeting health and safety guidelines, I will be doing more in-person workshops. However, right now I'm moving things online, and I'm very excited to move things online. And again, I'm really excited to be offering this. It's a big, big project, and this is where my focus is right now. So Zandra says, yay. She sent a whole bunch of balloons and really happy emojis. Oh, she gave me a gold ribbon. And Kim is saying, so exciting. Yay. I know, I'm super excited. So yeah, I know Zandra was working on filming music video. I know Jeremy was working on the same music video and editing it, so I'm really excited to see how that's going. Zandra, I did find something that I think you should see. I found it on YouTube, and the imagery is just beautiful. The music is beautiful, so I would love to share that with you. Let me pull it up. Kim, definitely check this out. This is pretty cool. I need to find my history here. Here it is. Here it comes. It's so cool. The imagery is just beautiful. Okay, it's Heilung. 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 It's very Norse, Druid, Celtic, mystery kind of sounding music that these people do, and their music videos are absolutely beautiful. The imagery is gorgeous, and I'm all about it. So Zandra, I thought that you might enjoy it. Kim says love it. Zandra says she's shooting today as soon as they're done here. Zandra says she's heard of them. Yeah, I really recommend checking it out. It's really cool mood music. Like, I'm about ready to put some of it on. The imagery is gorgeous. This commission that I'm working on is kind of a like historic fiction, kind of Druid, kind of Icelandic themed, really like, I don't know, think the opening credits of Vikings, the show on Amazon Prime, and I think the History Channel put it out. But a very, like, I don't know, just gritty but beautiful. So yeah, so that's my project. I'm gonna actually tap out right now. I have my project I'm working on. I have a bunch of work to do today, and my schedule just filled up a lot, so I'm gonna have to be super diligent with my time. And so just as this book says, you know, having a limit on time is definitely going to propel me forward, because if I'm limited on my time on these projects, I'm going to have to be really effective and stick to it. So here I go down the rabbit hole. Zandra says, yes, it was totally the History Channel that produced Vikings. And Kim says, see you guys next week. Have a great week and keep art in your heart. I love it. All right, you guys. Love you, babies. And one last thing. I know that this is super, super obvious, but this is something that I thought of this week that really, really struck me. And I was meditating, and this just came to me because I felt like super stressed, super scattered, right? And like, you know, when you get like overwhelmed with so much going on that you feel frozen. So I was meditating, and this came to me. It says, all you have to do is take the action and the results will come. And my life experience supports that, and that just really resonated with me, and it was just what I needed to hear in that moment. So all you have to do is take the action and the results will come. So that's what I'm leaving with you guys. So glad you came to join me. Zandra says Fever Ray, who did this song, is super dope, one of Jer's favorites. It's a brother-sister duo, and Fever Ray is a sister's lead. They have another band, The Knife. It's the brother's lead. Oh, that sounds good. So Fever Ray and The Knife, I'm going to check out too. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for showing up. I will see you next week. Read the first 10 pages of The War of Art. And of course, show up and let's talk about how we can be more creative in our lives and happy, effective, wonderful, creative beings. All right. Love you. Bye.